Hey guys, welcome to Fight Hype. This is Melissa Zad, and I am so delighted to be joined across the pond by Paul Bamba. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate
No
it.
problem, no problem. Paul was just telling me how he's on a turkey drive today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because it sounds incredible.
Oh, Turkey Drive is basically I had a hard come up, I guess you could say. So every year in the Bronx, where I started boxing at Morris Park Boxing Club, I give out free turkeys for everybody in the community and stuff like that. Because it was the same community that helped get me off my feet, or get me on my feet rather.
That's amazing. So you said you had a hard come up. Is that sort of what pushed you or propelled you into boxing?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Mm.
There was a way to feed myself, and you got to hang out in the gym all day. You learn more. The more you're in the gym, the better you got. So everything was just full circle. And you can't fight, you can teach. So like no matter what, it felt like boxing was just something for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I really respect that. I think a lot of people are drawn to the sport because of the help that it gives them in their life. So it's really nice to hear that you're giving back to the community, and kind of doing that ahead of Thanksgiving. So obviously, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. We're obviously here for the reason that there's been a lot that's happened since the scheduled, which didn't take place, the scheduled fight against Tommy Fury. So why don't you give us a little synopsis of what happened, and then we can delve into it a bit more.
Um, Basically everything was fine up until the day of the weigh-in. The night before the weigh-in, I got called. They told me to make sure I made weight, whether it be no fight. They reminded me my contracted weight was 175 pounds. I said, yeah, that's weird. Cool. I already knew I had to make weight. Um, and I made weight. Uh, we asked for a representative to be there when Tommy weighed in. Um, we had to run to the scales. He was already on the scale by the time we got there. He weighed in at 82.3 kilograms, which the kilograms is kind of messing me up. And they're like offset to like pounds, but I knew it was like 4 or 5 pounds over. It happened to be like 6 and change. We said, hey, you're overweight. He got handed a bottle of water and he started tipping it. He didn't care. He said, no, I'm not. He said his contracted weight was, he said this himself, his contracted weight was 81 kilograms. So I was like, cool, you're still overweight, regardless of if it's like what mine says, what yours says, 81 is not 82.3. That's like almost an extra 3 pounds. I asked for more money. They told me no, it wouldn't come out of his purse. They eventually offered me a little bit more money, but it wasn't like the percentage that it should be, um, especially for like a fight of this magnitude, of it being the co-main and being on Mayweather's undercard. Um, and then I got pulled off the card essentially by one of the owners. I was told to fuck off verbatim.
Okay, so let me break this down, right? I have so many questions to ask, just hearing that little bit. So he weighed in, according to him, his contract said a particular weight. And is my understanding correct that your contract said a different agreed weight?
That's what the story is. He hasn't released his contract. I released mine because people were saying stuff. Mine said 100. Both boxers are to be 175 pounds, 79.322 something kilograms, right? He said his contract was 81 kilograms, which is still weird that a commission would approve a sanctioned bout for two different weight classes.
Sure.
We never got a copy of his stuff. I should have got like an executed thing, like saying, hey, this is what Tommy's going to be. Because I would have, 81 kilograms would have been fine with me had I known, had they not called me the night before, made me make weight. And then all of a sudden, oh no, you could have weighed in this if you wanted. But you called me and told me something else. So they purposely drained me. There was talk about using 8-ounce gloves. I was like, yeah, no. It's 10 ounce for my weight for anything like 154 and above. They're like, oh yeah, we just wanted to make sure if you didn't want to. I'm like, bro, what? Like, there's just all types of weird stuff going on. Like, I was set to be like a highlight reel, and I'm not afraid of Tommy by any means, but purposely draining me right before him, not having to do that, him rehydrating to like 200 pounds. I'm a natural light heavyweight. I'm not like a huge guy. I'm not a cruiserweight. I'm not a heavyweight. I wouldn't have took the fight at cruiserweight. Maybe I would have if I would have known way ahead of time. Possibly, but not at a moment's notice.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's still a sport. Like, there's still rules and regulations and things that work to people's favor. We tried to say to save the fight, how about you only rehydrate to 190 pounds? They said no. So I thought that was fair because normally people do like 10. It was like an extra 15 pounds. Be like, hey, fuck, like, sorry. Hey, screw it. We'll still do it. Like, but you can't come in over 190. Like, keep it somewhat even. They didn't want to do it. We tried to make it an exhibition. They told me no. They had to count for his record. But then they did like some BS exhibition that was terrible.
So what do you think is going on here? Like, from your perspective, what do you think the intention was behind all of this?
Oh, I was set to lose before, like, I even got it, like, before I got there.
But like, why wouldn't, I don't understand why they wouldn't take you on as an exhibition fight when then they ended up doing an exhibition fight anyway.
I don't understand that either at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because I wanted the money, I wanted to fight, I wanted to make it like on an even like playing field because safety is a real thing. And then when we said the max you could be is like 190, and we were trying to work it out, like, you didn't want to give money, you didn't want to try to make it respectable as far as the weight class. Like, he literally, there was no negotiations to be had with them. It was their way or no way. And I didn't go there with an opponent's mindset. Like, that wasn't it. Like, it was a fight. I knew I could win. Like, the kid's not that good. He just has a really good big brother. Like, he's in the same stage as I am, like, with wins or losses, like, whatever. So yeah, I don't really get it.
It's very bizarre. And am I correct in understanding that you had a conversation with John Fury afterwards?
Yeah.
That conversation.
We bumped into each other while we were on the phone, actually, in between the arena and the hotel. He's a nice guy. He tried to offer me more money. He said it would come out of his stuff. But there was no time to do contracts. We just rely on a handshake. It sounded good, but after being like screwed around with for a good week and a half, like, I wasn't really trying to hear a handshake on anything. Like, I get it, but for me to take anyone's word at this point.
Sure. I mean, to be fair to you, like, you had a contract and it appears that Tommy had a separate contract. So even that, of course, I understand your reservation as to why the handshake wouldn't be appropriate.
Wouldn't mean much at all. Yeah, no. And then not only that, I just don't think there's another contract. I think that he didn't make weight and they try to doctor up a new contract because they sent me over another contract with more money on it, and it had a fixed 81 kilograms and all this extra stuff. And I didn't sign it, so I still have that for proof later. Like, it was just really weird. Like, they fixed the weights, they changed everything. And yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And can I ask, I heard, and it could be completely mistaken, but I heard there was some sort of situation in terms of your flights, your expenses, your hotel.
Oh, it all got canceled. Everything.
So let me let me get this straight. You've paid for a camp, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, the fight that didn't happen ended up costing you money?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So what happened in terms of the cancellation of everything?
Well, they threatened before the fight was before I was pulled off of the card, they threatened to cancel my flights and hotel. And I was like, what? I was like, my whole problem is not being treated with respect, and you're threatening me to cancel something like that. You flew me out the country for. Like, this is just crazy to me. And you're wanting me to take you guys' word and just trust everything that we're doing while you're threatening to cancel my flights and all this. And then when I was pulled off the cards, I was kicked out the hotel early. My flight was canceled. Yeah, it was just crazy to me.
So you had to pay for your flight back?
Yeah, I paid for my flight back. I paid for my flight back, the hotels that I needed, everything.
Now, I don't know much about, obviously, the ins and outs of the business of professional boxing, but in the UK, as far as I know, once the opponent steps on the scales, or once people step on the scales, they have to be paid.
Yeah, that's what you're contracted for. You're not contracted for the outcome of the fight or anything like that. That's the sport part. You're contracted to make weight, to be able to fight, and you go fight.
So you made weight. So did you get paid?
No, I wasn't paid anything at all. Nothing. I paid for my own food while I was out there. I was told I'd be reimbursed my team's food. Like, they gave us like 2 meals a day, but it was just really weird. Like, everything was weird.
So to
They brag about
day,
having
you haven't been paid?
No, I have yet to be paid. They haven't made a statement about me at all. They made one about Tommy kind of stroking his ego a bit, and then you haven't been paid. It's kind of like screwed and forgotten, if you will. Yeah.
So obviously, this is quite a personal question, and please feel free to say, you're not comfortable answering it, but could you give us a rough estimation of how much the fight that didn't happen has ended up costing you?
Between like 30, 35,000. I'm getting everything totaled up now for all the food, and like, because camp's expensive. You pay people to spar with you. You got to feed them. You got trainers. You got cutmen. You got like all these people. It's not their fault. Like, you prepay people. Strength and conditioning is expensive because if you got a good guy, like, they're pricey. I invested everything I could into the fight. Like, the purse didn't really matter because I knew I'd win. I knew it was a very winnable fight. It wasn't just like hey, you're collecting a check to get like beat up. Like, I would never do that. So I invested everything in it, and then I got screwed. I'm in really good shape though, still. So I guess that's cool.
I mean, it's always good to have like a positive outlook, but in terms of obviously the fact that you've not been paid, how are you planning to, what are you planning to do about it? Are you planning to do anything?
I'm gonna end up going the legal route if I don't hear anything back. I'm probably not gonna hear anything back. Probably have to apply some pressure. And then if I get a fight and the fight makes up for my money that I lost and wasn't paid and gives me a regular purse for the new fight, I'll probably just leave the whole thing alone. At the end of the day, I want to box, not like be in a courtroom.
Sure.
I get that he might have that Jake Paul thing coming up, so I respect like the payday aspect or something. Where you say you're a real boxer, let me welcome you back to boxing. Yeah, it's pretty much it. If I have to pursue it legally, I will. I got there's really good people behind it. I've learned that a bunch of people in the boxing community have my back because it was wrong and the weights were like way off. But I'm hoping that they just give me some sort of fight offer to where it makes everything flush, and then I get the opportunity that was supposed to be there for me. That's it.
If you had a message for Tommy Fury, what would that message be?
Oh, it would be the Jake Paul thing. If you got your payday, go take your payday. Let me welcome you back to boxing when you're done with the YouTube stuff. And if you don't get that fight, if it doesn't work out, since you already said you're available in February or March, so am I. Like, let's get it on. We got a storyline. We can sell more than we were going to beforehand. There's people that want to see it now, so why not? Or else you can just like you can just be a punk about it, because that's honestly what it is. I feel like at the open workout when I grabbed his neck, he just kind of freaked out and everything went downhill from there. So I guess I should have just been a yes man, and then we would have gotten a ring and I would have been able to knock him out. That's it.
Paul, what a crazy experience I'm sure it's been for you. And you know, I feel really bad for you actually, that you've lost out so much money in this whole situation. But I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about it. And if the fight ever does happen, then I would definitely be very keen to watch it in the future, especially with all this bad blood.
Yeah, I would say it makes for a better fight now, because it's personal at this point. I'm sure it's personal for him as well, because if he didn't have anything to do with it, he does look kind of stupid because of it. So I'm sure he wants to punch me in my face just as badly as I want to punch him in his. Yeah.
You got to love boxing. Paul, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you.
No worries. Take care.